Hello, my name is Amanda Middlestadt, and I'm the director of the Willed Body program in the Congdon School of Health Sciences here at High Point University, and I am honored to welcome you to this year's Impact Beyond Life service. Although we are unable to come together in person as we have in the past, and our service looks much different than before, we are still 100% committed to honoring our most valuable donors and providing you, their families and friends, this tribute of thanks. Our service was originally scheduled to be held in December of last year, but due to the pandemic and having to adjust schedules, we are here today. In the beginning of last year, we started off as we always have, but slowly things began to change, and then almost overnight, our lives were forever altered. The pandemic changed everything. The way we worked, learned, socialized, lived, and loved. Our daily lives were turned upside down. Many of us felt lost and confused. We felt alone and isolated. What each of us may have felt was nothing short of grief for the loss of what our lives were like before. The emotions that many of us felt last year, may still feel, are very similar to the feelings our families experienced when their loved one died. One day, with or without warning, their loved ones were gone from their lives. No longer could they have dinner with them, hold their hand, or speak with them over the phone. For some, they lost their main job as caretakers. For others, they lost the one person they enjoyed dancing with or going to church with. Children lost their parents, their natural guides that were supposed to help them navigate their futures. I think now, more than ever, for those of us who have not lost someone before, we may now have a glimmer of what that feels like. To all of the families and friends of our donors, I am beyond sorry for your loss and the life-changing event that brought you so much pain and so much grief. I do not know exactly how you feel then or how your life has changed since, but I do know that I am honored to have met you, to have glimpsed into the lives of our donors through your stories, pictures, videos, and words. Through their death and donations, they will forever live on in our students and in myself. For our students, this year looked much different than they had expected. Their learning began virtually and slowly returned in person, but with many limitations. Although our students may not have had as many opportunities to get to know your loved ones, they unanimously agreed that it was important to celebrate and honor their selfless contributions to their learning. So today, we pay respect to the 11 silent teachers that waited for them to return to campus, that were there to teach them as much as they could in the time they had. A time, although shortened, was just as powerful as if they were together all semester. To our silent teachers, thank you. Thank you for providing our students the opportunity to learn from.
Hello family and friends of our 2020 Silent Teachers. My name is Vic Munch and I'm in the Doctor of Physical Therapy program, class of 2023. When I heard about the annual ceremony to honor our silent teachers, I knew that I wanted a role in helping, no matter how big or small. I was so honored when Mrs. Middlestadt gave me the responsibility to bring this year's ceremony together. None of this would be possible without her, my fellow physical therapy students, our physician assistant students, our athletic training students, and our exercise science students, as they all put in priceless effort and care into today's ceremony. I am so humbled to be able to speak on behalf of all departments to express to you all just how privileged we feel to have been able to learn from your loved ones. My condolences to each of you and your family members on the loss of your loved ones and for the grief you all have experienced by their absence. I hope this ceremony can bring you and your family some comfort today, knowing that your loved ones continue to live on through our work. Today you will hear reflections from students on their experience learning from your loved ones and poems specifically selected by them. We will also include in the final video a compilation of thanks from our students. During the service, members from our beloved faculty will share personal messages, words of comfort will be shared by our university's minister, and finally, taps will be played in honor of your loved ones who served our country. Although today's service is entirely dedicated to our silent teachers, I would like to point out that during our service, students from each department will light a candle. The candles lit by students today are in memory of your loved one and represent their ongoing memory and legacy that will continue to burn brightly thanks to their selfless act. Following the candle lighting, our students will share their reflections. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this service, and although we cannot be together in person, it was important for us to honor your loved ones.
When I touched your hands, I touched hands that had felt the chill of 94 winters, fingers that had stretched in the sunlight of as many springs. When I touched your feet, I touched feet that had walked the paths of 9 decades, toes curling and uncurling through the uncertainty of 5 wars. When I touched your arms, I touched the arms that had braced you from and embraced the world, a world that I know only through historians and faded photographs. When I stared into the shell of your eyes, I saw the screen upon which a million irreplaceable scenes had been played, visions of a world rapidly changing, at once both like and unlike my own. When I held your heart in my hands, in a moment filled with awe and grace, I held a heart whose mysteries I will never know, a heart that gave me the gift of itself. When you invited me to know you, to be a guest in the house that your spirit left, to touch your body more intimately than any lover could, you forever altered my life. My feet, with the knowledge of yours, will walk into the future carrying you with me. My hands, as they reach out to comfort and heal, will do so, never forgetting the delicacy of yours. My eyes, as they sweep across the landscapes of my future, will find it in reflections of the world I saw as yours. My heart, in the rhythm of its beating, will carry with it the stillness and wonder of your heart, lying silent in my hands. Amy Marie Milliken.
This is to the donors and all the families of the donors that I have worked with. I'm Gabrielle Ferracci, and I'm a recent High Point University 2020 grad and now a first-year physical therapy student here. I had the wonderful opportunity to take part in the courses supported by the Willed Body program during my undergraduate senior year here and my summer semester of graduate school. As an undergraduate exercise science major moving on to the world of physical therapy, I had the pleasure of working with classmates of all different health science majors. Although we did choose different paths, it was a pleasure to work alongside students who understand the complexity of the human body and who value the ability we will have to change lives throughout our careers. Although our semester was shortened, the donors prepared us for all we were to learn in our graduate studies. And with that, I would personally like to thank the donors for providing me with such an amazing learning experience that I will never ever forget. Your loved ones' contributions and sacrifices have reminded me of why I chose the career path of physical therapy that I did. And it showed me how much passion I have for understanding the workings of the human body. Studying from your loved ones, our silent teachers, has given us the unique ability to observe the differences in anatomy, physiology, and pathology across many individuals. This will assist greatly with our clinical reasoning when it comes to treating patients as physical therapists. And once again, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to your loved ones for giving me a new perspective on the human body and allowing me to continue the journey through the health science field with newfound gratitude and appreciation.
Hi, my name is Katie Broder,
My name is Becca O'Brien.
and we are both first-year students in the physical therapy program here at HPU. We would like to express our thank you to the donors and their families for providing the opportunity to help expand our knowledge in anatomy. We are both very appreciative of the selflessness of the donors we were able to work with here in the lab.
This can truly have a significant impact on health science programs such as the physical therapy program we are a part of here at HPU. Through these donors, we learn things that we cannot learn from textbooks, which will help us provide better care for our patients in the future. Again, we want to extend our greatest gratitude to the donors for providing us with this opportunity of a lifetime.
Good afternoon. I'm Al Ward, clergy in residence here at High Point University. It is my privilege to be with you as we gratefully remember the 11 individuals who donated their bodies for the training of healthcare professionals here at High Point University. The Hebrew Scriptures says that we are blessed in order that we may be a blessing to others. In their lives and in their death, these men and women whom we remember this afternoon are indeed a blessing. To their family and friends, they are a blessing. They were among you as parents, siblings, spouses, friends, and neighbors. Their hands brushed your hair and soothed your wounds. Their voices spoke truth and love into your lives. Their laughter filled you with joy, and their reproving word or glance kept you on the straight and narrow. They were a blessing to their family and friends. To the faculty and students here at HPU, they are a blessing. These women and men have enabled the teaching of our faculty to become incarnate for the students. And they have allowed the students to observe the intricacies and workings of the human body. The faculty and students speak eloquently of how these donors enriched their teaching and enhanced their learning. They are a blessing to us here. To all of us, to everyone, they are a blessing. These donors have not only contributed to the education and training of healthcare professionals, but in so doing, they have contributed to the health and well-being of all of us. What these future physicians, assistants, physical therapists, and sports trainers have learned from their silent teachers will eventually inform the treatment and care they will give to you, to me, and to countless others in their practice of the healing arts. They are a blessing to all of us. Finally, these 11 donors are a blessing because they teach us the meaning of significance. Significance isn't defined by power and prestige, knowledge and wealth, success and status. No, significance is defined by the way we use the gifts we have been given to make the world a better place. By this definition, the women and men we remember this afternoon are people of significance, for they have given the gift of themselves to improve the health and well-being of everyone. They have become a living reminder of the great truth that there is no greater love than to give ourselves to and for one another. In their lives and in their death, these women and men are a blessing to all of us. And so we come to this service this afternoon with a sense of gratitude for the blessings of these generous, gracious, giving people. This afternoon, I imagine that we might hear the voice of the Creator saying to them, "Well done, good and faithful ones. Now rest from your labors." And what's more, I believe that we might also hear a summons to live our lives in a loving, generous way, that we might not only bless those around us, but those yet to come. Let us pray. God of us all, your love never ends. When all else fails, you still are God. We pray to you for one another in our need. We thankfully remember those whom we honor here this afternoon. We praise you that in their living they were a blessing to those who knew and loved them, and that in their deaths they were a blessing to our students, our faculty, and ultimately to countless others. Merciful God, receive these into the arms of your mercy and into the blessed rest of eternal peace. And grant that we may imitate their love and generosity, that we too may be a blessing to all creation. Amen.
As Vic and I were working together on the details of this year's service, we knew that we had to provide the families of our silent teachers with an opportunity to be a part of it. Since we couldn't experience it together in person, we wanted to create something special that would make each of you feel like your loved one was honored today. When we decided to ask our families to provide memories of their loved ones, little did we know how much it would affect us. Personally, I am thankful that I was able to experience them many times before today. The amount of tears I cried as I read your words, saw your loved ones in photos, watched them kiss their children in videos is enough for 1 year. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing those moments with us. Although we will not display the photos publicly so that we can keep our promise to our donors, I am honored to share the memories you wrote of them. Janelle was the most amazing person I have ever known. Her smile was infectious. She loved unconditionally, and her faith was unwavering. She met no stranger, and her ability to connect to others was magical. When I reminisce, a flood of emotions come over me because she was the love of my life. Truly a magnificent gift from God. She was a wife, mother, daughter, niece, sister, aunt, cousin, friend, and more. In every role, her love shone like the beacon, and you knew without a doubt that you held a special place in her heart. Janelle was protective, making you feel safe, loved, certain that your life mattered and that you were here for a God purpose. She was a prayer warrior, a spiritual giant. Even when you didn't ask, she sensed that there was a need, and she prayed for you. As her sister put it, she was the wind beneath my wings. One of my fondest memories was watching her dance. She loved to dance, in the house, in the yard, in the rain, anywhere music was playing. One day she came dancing into the living room, waving her hand in my face to Beyonce's songs, "You Better Put a Ring on It," was playing. Let's just say I heard that message. I put a ring on it before God, family, and friends. Another special memory I will forever cherish is the times we shared cooking together, especially at the holidays. She loved to cook. However, when she got angry, which wasn't often, she would take out her frustration by cooking. Some days as I walked through the door after work, I could smell the aroma of several yummy dishes. I remember thinking, I hope it wasn't me that upset her. Nevertheless, the kids and I would reap the benefit from all those goodies. Even the neighbors would get to enjoy it. Janelle was a transplant recipient in December of 2005. The gift of life that she received from her donor gave us 13 more years with her. Without that gift, she would not have been able to see her children graduate or her son get married. She also would not have met her first grandchild, Elise. The day she found out she was going to be a Baba was priceless. It was comical to see her buying so many things that our home began to look like a daycare. I would say, "You do realize we are not having a baby, they are. And she would just give me that $1,000,000 smile that melted my heart. As Janelle's son, I have so many great memories. When I was a young child, I remember Mom lying in bed with me on rainy nights. We would have the window open and would talk for a while about anything and everything on a young child's mind. She loved the rain and always was quick to remind me that the thunder was the angels bowling. It was so comforting and a great memory we always shared. Another incredibly special memory was the moment she found out she was going to be a Baba. I've never seen such joyous cry from her turn into sheer excitement that led to her granddaughter being the light of her life. Being a Bachi was her calling. There truly was no other mom like ours. She was the epitome of what a Christian and a follower of God should be. To say the world is a better place because Mom graced it with her presence would be an understatement. She is missed beyond measure, and I will forever love her. One memory that I will cherish forever as Janelle's daughter was the simplicity of her presence when I got home from work late at night. After a busy night, I would come home to my mom sitting by the fireplace, sipping tea and reading. She would ask me to sit with her, and she would allow me to talk about my night at work. Then we'd talk about life, philosophy, politics, and any other subject that entered our thoughts. She had this amazing ability to make people feel loved and heard. While the memory is a simple one, it is one that resonates deeply within my heart. When we first met you, you welcomed me into your life with open arms. It was almost like you just knew we were going to be family one day. You were the first person to ever introduce me as your daughter-in-law, even though your son and I were just still dating. I must have had quite the look on my face because after the nurse left, you just looked at me and said, "Well, you basically are." When your son proposed and it was time for our families to meet, as expected, they all adored you as much as I did. But you and my sister especially hit it off. The two of you formed such a close friendship that weekend. Then on the day of our wedding, you simply overflowed with joy. Your baby boy was getting married, and you couldn't have been prouder. Watching the two of you share the mother-son dance, Proclaimers 500 Miles, is one of my absolute favorite memories. You were so carefree on the dance floor. When we announced that you were pregnant with your first grandchild, you cried tears of happiness. You never thought that you would be a mother, let alone a Baba. We were blessed to have you take care of our little girl when we both had to work. And because of that, the two of you formed such an amazing bond. We surprised you with the news that I was pregnant with our second baby on your birthday, and you said that was the best gift you have ever been given. Although God called you home before Juliet was born, she will know all about you, and she even has your middle name. Of course, that means she has big shoes to fill, but I know you'll be guiding her along the way. There isn't enough time to share all the wonderful memories, but I am so grateful that I could always count on you for advice, words of wisdom, and most importantly, prayer. You were always just a phone call or text away if I ever needed you. One of the many things I loved about my bestie, Janelle, was her ability to love unconditionally and to accept people for who they truly were. She saw no flaws and made no judgments. She loved you for you, and if you were lucky enough to cross paths with her, your life would be enhanced with peace, love, joy, and adventure forever. My bestie had such a warm and giving soul. She always offered her help and support to get you through whatever life brought your way. To me, she was a chosen one by God to do His work with such compassion that she made your soul glow. Silent Teachers is such an honor that she always wanted to help in any way she could, even after death. To be able to provide medical insights and knowledge for future generations was her wish, and we are so grateful that our wish came to fruition. Janelle, our sweet, silent teacher, overflowed with unconditional love for all, always putting others before herself. Her authentic love was deep, and her beautiful smile was radiant. She always let the light shine so that the world could feel God's love. And today, her spirit lives on through the many lives she's touched. Well done, good and faithful servant. Matthew 25:23. Jim was a caring and loving man, and he is greatly missed by his wife and granddaughters more and more every day. During his life, there were times when he had a difficult time showing his emotions and feelings. Towards the end, it was hard because he didn't know how to express his feelings. I wish I could have noticed more how bad he was hurting inside. I miss him every day, and I'm thankful that he showed me love in his own ways. I am also thankful for the angels at High Point who answered my calls and listened to me, especially on our anniversary when they placed the phone next to my husband and I told him how much I missed him and loved him. Professor Mark was a career educator in constitutional law and worked closely with criminal justice students. He was very adamant about education and loved teaching his students. The idea that he was going to be used to help pre-med and health science students was very important to his family in their decision. Professor Mark was also a career United States Marine Corps Judge Advocate, also known as JAG. Warren was an absolutely amazing husband, father, friend, and teacher. His smile alone would light up a room. He lived many of his last years being of service to others, and even after his death, that has rang true with this program. He changed lives while he was living, and I'm sure he has changed many even after his departure from this earth. He is so dearly missed, but always in our minds and hearts. King Rex was a smart, funny, caring, generous, kind, good-hearted, thoughtful, hardworking, cheerful, loyal, loving, faithful man. He was a God-fearing patriot and family man who loved his family and friends, never met a stranger, and he loved his Pittsburgh Steelers as well. He excelled at life and even in death. He touched many lives. I am proud to say he was my husband of 33 years and is greatly and deeply missed. We are all proud of him for all the wonderful things he did for everyone. King Rex was a God-fearing man. I rarely saw my daddy cry, but many times he helped the less fortunate. One time in particular, when I was just a young girl, there was an older lady with a sign at the Taco Bell in Thomasville. It read, "We'll work for food." We had just gotten something to eat. He worked all day and was starving. Without hesitation, his eyes swelled with tears, and he gave her his meal. That touched my heart and has stuck with me. I still get choked up when I think about it. That's the type of man my daddy was. Steve's request for something better in life didn't seem to bring him healing, for he had never learned how. Scared and scarred by whatever pummeled his early years, he must have grown armor within and without. Thirsting for human connection, he seemed to always fear that it would be tainted. Yet, near the end, he entrusted his body so that others could be treated better. By the grace of God and human endeavor, may the suffering stored in his body be transformed at last into healing. And may he rest in peace at last. First off, I want to share mine and the family's blessings to all of you, from the staff and to all the wonderful students. We have so much gratitude and love. My daddy was my hero with the best warm cuddles. Our dad was strong, brave, courageous, a fighter, funny, but our hero. Jimmy and I met 20 years ago, just as kids working at McDonald's. I crushed on Jimmy. I bought him an orange rose his last day I worked with him. We went separate ways, had our own families, later on reconnect with failed family, ended up in divorce. It was a shock to reconnect after 13 to 14 years, but we hit it off. Found out Jimmy had kept that orange rose in his Bible after all these years. Little did we know, God blessed us with a beautiful little girl who is our life. All of our children are. He even counted my daughter as a part of him, and I counted his daughter and son as a part of me. We so much wanted to get married, but never got the chance to financial issues, sickness, and the cancer came along and destroyed it all. But I loved Jimmy unconditionally with all my heart and soul. I took over a year off from work. The last 9 months, I cared for Jimmy. I made sure he got the care he needed. The last 3 to 4 months, it got to the point I had to help bathe, change, sometimes feed and clothe Jimmy. Jimmy will forever be my heart and soul. He was a wonderful daddy, the best you could ask for, the best soulmate. He will forever be my inspiration, my hero. He was beyond brave. He had so much love to give and so much humor, never a dull moment. He was very generous. He would give the shirt off his back to anyone who needed it. He had the most beautiful, big blue eyes and always a smile on his face no matter how bad he was feeling. Also, he never gave up hope, and mostly his faith. He was a fighter. I want all to know Jimmy wanted his body to be donated in hopes to find a cure for pancreatic cancer or to help someone else. He had donated his body in honor of his oncologist, who sat by our side during the whole 9 months of battling cancer. The oncologist would sit and pray with us and never give up on us. Even on the weekend, he was a personal call away for asking a question about medication or a shoulder to pray on. Jimmy was full of life and did so much in his 38 years. He was far from perfect, but that did not keep him from being the best he could. Thanks to his gift of gab, he never met a stranger. He could talk your ear off and still have something to say. He had a great sense of humor that he got from his mom, and though he is gone, the family is still finding evidence in an insatiable love of life and food. His favorite foods included cheeseburgers, mac and cheese, and ice cream. But let's face it, if it involved food, you could find him there. He was a loving and caring father and uncle, a great friend, an awesome brother, and so much more. He adored his 3 children and fought hard until the end to be there for them. But his body was tired. Pancreatic cancer may have cut his earthly life short, but the legacy he leaves behind will live on in the hearts and memories of those who knew and loved him. The family is thankful for God's grace for sending his son, Jesus, so that they may have the opportunity to say, "See you later," and not goodbye forever.
My name is Abby Trezak, and I'm a first-year DPT student at High Point University. Today I will be reading a poem called A Life You're Proud Of by F. Scott Fitzgerald. For what it's worth, it's never too late, or in my case, too early, to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit, so stop whenever you want. You can change or stay the same. There are no rules to this thing. We can make the best or the worst of it, and I hope you make the best of it. And I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you see things you've never seen before. I hope you meet people with a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of. If you find that you're not, I hope you have the strength to start all over again.
Hello, my name is Kelly, and I am representing the athletic training cohort of 2022. Athletic trainers are healthcare professionals that provide services in a wide variety of areas, including prevention, examination, treatment, rehabilitation of injuries and illnesses, wellness promotion and education, and emergent care. I firmly believe that not everything can be learned from a textbook, and I think my classmates and peers in other healthcare disciplines can attest to this as well. Though our time with our silent teachers was brief, the knowledge gained was invaluable. The gift that our donors gave us as students will be carried with us and impacts the countless patients that we will encounter in our professional careers. It is truly amazing how the gift of one person can positively impact so many lives, and we are grateful. On behalf of myself and my cohort, I want to thank the donors for their selflessness and their loved ones for their respect and cooperation.
Thank you, Amanda, for organizing this event. I am Dr. James Pampush, and we're all very grateful for the opportunity to express our gratitude to our donors today. In preparing my remarks, I was struck by something that the science journalist Mary Roach said in her book on cadavers, Stiff. She wrote that we are biology. We are reminded of this at the beginning and at the end, at birth and death, yet in between we do everything we can to forget. I think she is right. We are biology. Our identity is informed and inextricably linked to what we are as bodies. Setting aside arguments about the artifacts, tracks, and marks we will each leave behind, the donors we gather to honor today did not simply donate their vacant vessels. They donated the physical things which made them who they were. When viewed this way, we can see their donation for the incredibly significant and selfless act that it was. The donors have revealed to us everything about who they physically were, and without such acts of silent generosity, the study of human anatomy would be purely theoretical. Instructors might ask students to pore over textbooks, diagrams, models, and videos, only to realize that their understanding of anatomy was founded on faltering sands when they first go to apply it in practice. Without the donations, we simply cannot appreciate the complexities, vagaries, quirks, and most importantly, beauty of the human form. Thus, with each cadaver, our understanding of the human body is transformed, and because of this, the donor becomes our vessel of personal discovery. These donors have taken each of us on a journey, not just to understand the human form, but an inward journey to understand ourselves and to excise our abilities to forget that we are biology. What's more, the impact of the donor's generosity is not bound by the walls of the classroom or this university. Each donation is more than just a study tool for students. They are also gifts to the untold number of future patients and clients each student will work to heal. So while the biology, which was created and held the identities of each donor, has eventually vanished, like a pebble into a pond, the ripples will be felt by those of us here for many years to come. These gifts will echo amongst countless lives who may never know that they were touched by those who chose to donate. Many of those helped by these donations may well be our own loved ones, brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers. The donors will never know the impact of their gifts, and therefore, it is our responsibility to always remain aware of the transformation these donations have had on each one of us, and to quietly remember them as we heal our patients and continue teaching our students.
We didn't know how we'd work with standardized patients, how we'd listen to lectures, or how we'd learn anatomy. We didn't know how the professors would cater our curriculum to protocols, or how we'd even get to the goal that we so desperately desired. We knew that we'd start the program, and eventually, we know that we're going to complete it. We are only certain about a start and an end, a birth and a death, If we do nothing impactful with the in-between, we are like a single domino that falls without a cascade of others. If we touch one other domino, we can amplify our purpose and our legacy lives on. The donations your loved one has provided, even after the end, is a domino that simultaneously and exponentially affected rows and rows of other dominoes. The impact is unquantifiable, and as we venture into the unknown and tackle new challenges every day, we are constantly reminded and forever grateful for the selflessness and the legacy that your domino created, even when it didn't have to. We have learned the intricate makeup of what is on the inside and are reminded that no matter how different we appear on the outside, we all have the ability to do good. Do good for each individual patient, do good for one another, and do good for all people. We are thankful for our very first patients, and we are excited to continue the domino cascade that they began.
We are now going to play a compilation of video tributes from our students. Although they could not all meet in person, they still wanted to share their gratitude with you and your families for your loved one's selfless gift.
On behalf of all the students here at the School of Health Sciences who had an enriching experience because of the generosity of donors and families of donors, I want to offer my deepest gratitude. The Will Body program allows for future healthcare providers like us to experience and learn about the human body in a unique and meaningful way that could not occur otherwise. The knowledge that we have gained by working with our donors will go on to positively impact countless lives in the future as we move into our roles as providers. And for that gift, we truly cannot thank you enough.
We've learned so much from your family.
We learned about the human body in a very real and tangible way.
But more than that, we learned how to care for others thanks to your family's gracious donation.
Thank you! As we make our way through the didactic year, our experience in lab has become more and more important.
Because of you and your family's generosity, we feel more prepared to enter clinical year. Beyond that, we feel more prepared to serve others in the future as PAs.
Thank you so much!
Hi everyone, I just wanted to say thank you to all the donors and their families. It's such a special thing that they have chosen to be part of our learning experience, even after they are no longer with us. These donors are literally our first patients. They have so much to teach us, and it's an incredible experience to take a glimpse into their lives. These donors teach us to be compassionate, caring, and kind, and show us that there is so much life to give even after we stop living.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn.
Your family's sacrifice has allowed us to learn in a hands-on way.
No words can describe how thankful we are for this hands-on experience.
Thank you! We know that COVID has changed the way we live our lives.
And it's certainly changing the way that we're learning.
But we'll be forever thankful for your selflessness.
Even in these uncertain and crazy times. Our PA school thanks you for your donation.
Thank you!
We cannot thank you enough
For your family's donation.
You and your family have helped us so much.
And we're grateful and excited
to take your experiences to the healthcare field.
Thank you!
Taps will now be played in honor of the veterans who served our country and continued to serve as silent teachers. We want to thank them for their selflessness during and after their lives. Thank you so much for watching our virtual ceremony for this year's Impact Beyond Life service. In honor of our silent teachers, our students have chosen a special gift that will be mailed later in the month. We decided on a personalized wooden plaque to complement the Tree of Life in our building's 4th floor. We thought this would be a beautiful keepsake to keep in your home in hopes of serving as a conversation starter for those who are not familiar with what a silent teacher is and how life-changing their gift is. This personalized plaque is something you can keep forever and always be reminded that your loved one will forever be cherished by our students for their honorable gift of education. We sincerely thank you for allowing us to honor your loved ones with you today. We continue to be grateful every day for your loved one's selfless gift of education.
Once again, I want to thank each of you for taking the time to view this year's Impact Beyond Life service. I hope that the words, music, and memories you heard bring you peace and comfort. On behalf of all who spoke and participated in this year's service, and all who wish to be here in person, thank you for gracing us with the opportunity to know and learn from your most valued and cherished loved one. They will forever be a part of our High Point family. Thank you.